Business as usual, no longer.
We will be advising against organised, non-essential gatherings of persons of 500 people or greater from Monday.
Following unanimous advice from chief medical officers.
We're not suggesting that people should interrupt their normal daily work. It's just avoiding those particular circumstances where transmission can be accelerated.
Just enough on it.
It may be advice rather than a ban, but major sports codes will likely comply. Competitions either kept crowd-free, cancelled or postponed, with no end in sight. The NRL's opening weekend will go ahead as normal. As for round 2 and beyond,
our games will continue to proceed as planned, albeit with our stadiums will be closed to fans.
It'll affect fun runs, fetes and festivals. Large churches and mosques may have to reconfigure congregations. For now, schools, universities, public transport, airports and government business are unaffected.
Parliament's essential, going to school's essential, going to work's essential.
I'm more worried about my daughter's education than actually catching the virus at this point in time.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about it, given the amount of people that come to the school in and out.
To further limit exposure to coronavirus, Australians are being advised to reconsider all overseas travel.
Regardless of your destination.
And there'll be a weekly hookup of federal and state leaders to coordinate the response under a national cabinet.
We are all united. We are all absolutely determined to work together to make sure that we keep people well.
But with the advice not due to kick in until Monday, the PM's decided he won't change his weekend activities.
I do still plan to go to the football on Saturday. It might be the last game I get to go to for a long time.
Life's about to change for everyone. A huge disturbance that'll have significant social and economic impact. The government splashed $18 billion yesterday to keep the economy ticking over for the next few months. This new phase in the crisis suggests the economy might need a lot more help yet.
And for more on that breaking development regarding the Home Affairs Minister, Andrew Probyn, joins us from Parliament House. Andrew, what do we know, and will this diagnosis have any impact on members of Cabinet?
Well, Mary, we know that Peter Dutton woke up this morning with a sore throat, felt unwell, got the test done, came back positive, and he's been put in isolation in a Brisbane hospital. We know that on Tuesday he was in Sydney, a cabinet meeting with Scott Morrison and other ministers, and that on Tuesday evening he flew back to Brisbane on a commercial flight. Scott Morrison spent his day, of course, with premiers and chief ministers in Parramatta for a COAG meeting. So the question now is whether Scott Morrison, having been exposed to a potentially infectious Peter Dutton, might have also passed on the virus to Dan Andrews and others. This might actually stop, I expect it would stop Scott Morrison at least attending the football tomorrow at ANZ Stadium.
Those planning a holiday overseas are now being urged to think again.
We now advise all Australians to reconsider your need to travel overseas at this time. Regardless of your destination, age or health, if your travel is not essential, consider carefully whether now is the right time.
The travel industry was already struggling. Flight Centre announced it's closing 100 of its stores due to uncertainty surrounding the coronavirus.
The net effect will be about 100 shops over the next 12 months, and a reasonable number of them should shut in the next 4 or 5 months.
It was troubling news for loyal customers.
I'm concerned because I thought they might close, but they won't. They've been around a long time.
But I don't think it's fair to shut down jobs.
The number of positions set to be axed is unknown, but the company says it'll look to transfer some staff.
They'll all be assured of relocating if they want to, but obviously in these sort of times we can't guarantee that everyone in the Flight Centre Travel Group are going to be with us forever and ever.
Virgin Airlines today followed Qantas in slashing services. Domestic and international flights will be drastically reduced to match demand. The airline says people booked on affected flights will be able to reschedule at no cost. Virgin is also abandoning plans to base a pilot training school in Tamworth.
I feel that they're using the current
conditions as the reasoning behind it, when really negotiations had been going on for several months.
This is not a great thing for Tamworth, but certainly it'll take a little time to get over it.
We regret having to withdraw our negotiations with the Tamworth Council, but in the circumstances we're in right now, it isn't our highest priority.
The cruise ship industry is also suffering. Viking Cruises and Princess Cruises have suspended their entire fleets for 2 months. Affected passengers will be offered the option of rebooking at a later date, but it could be a long wait before overseas travel is uncomplicated by the coronavirus.